super late night meal prep. Voila. Okay. Watermelon. Sometimes this is my favorite thing to do is cut up a watermelon and cut up watermelon to work with me. Then I have to prepare my lunch for tomorrow. So why not go live? Now, for my watermelon, I always, that's too much. Rinse it with, that's too much. I put too much dish soap, but I always wash off my watermelon before I cut it all over. Fuzz it up. Fuzz it up, fuzz it up. With running cold water though. Cold water. I rinse it in cold water before I cut it up. Just, you know, been on the ground. Who knows? Just to be safe. Just to be safe. Hold on. Alright. This is my favorite knife. I've had this knife for years. Years. So, cutting we go. Hope it's sweet. Pretty sweet. Oh, looks sweet. Can you see it? Let's see. Ooh, smells really sweet. It's sweet. It's really good. Into sections and chop it on up. I just slice it. But yeah, this is super late night meal prep, okay? Super late night meal prep. That is what we're doing. I normally do this in the sink because I'll just show you one cut. And of course, I wash my hands before I do all of this. Just because. And then, but they say the rind is very, very healthy. So I try and cut all of that out too. Get as much of the rind as possible. You know, since it's a watermelon, you need a heavy duty trash bag to put it in. Okay. And you know, Costco has these trash compactor bags, and they're super heavy duty because these trash bags today are just, they get thinner and thinner. So, yeah. Right. On to the next. So listen. Listen, I've been talking about keeping it moving because as we get older, guess what? As we get older, we lose muscle mass. And I am doing a AI cohort. So I haven't been able to move. I haven't been able to really work out the way I need to be working out. And so I've actually missed my workouts with this new schedule because I'm in class and then homework and then So if anybody wants to learn, on my Instagram page, in my stories is the AI Makers Generation cohort. Tuesdays is free, Wednesdays is $15. You learn everything AI. Listen, when I tell you, these are amazing, amazing, such creatives. Like, this is the land of creativity. Okay? I'm telling you, amazing skill sets. Meta, they work for Meta. Listen, they filmmakers, photography, you name whatever genre, whatever age. There is no age that is too young or too old to learn this. I promise you. So come on, join in. You want a community? This is a community. But anyway, what I promise myself is I want to put myself in rooms where I feel like I am the most not smartest. Because I know I'm going to bloom, I'm going to blossom, I'm going to learn. We have to get comfortable putting ourselves in very uncomfortable positions, in uncomfortable rooms. If I am the smartest person in the room, if I am the person that, people come to in the room, then guess what? Where am I to grow? Where am I to grow? I want to be in a room that I walk in and be like, God, I don't know what I'm doing. Listen, programming is my background. I was like, what am I doing with my degree? Because it seems like my skills are outdated. And then, whoop, AI came along, baby. You don't have to have a background. I promise you, it does not matter. Okay? So come on. But it's just challenging. We always have to challenge ourselves. That is why I really wanted to come and late night prep with you and talk to you. I need you to come on. Look around you. Are you comfortable? Are you secure? Because when we get too comfortable for too long, we stop growing. What are we learning from the people? I mean, what are we learning? Listen, Linda, I'm telling you, I am one. If you look like, God, what am I doing? This life is a faith walk. Do you understand? I feel so, sometimes I look, God, what am I doing? Am I going to get this? I feel like everything is happening at the same time. Like, God, can I keep up? But I'm learning how I learn. So I keep learning new things about me, and I'm so amazed. I'm so excited. I'm so scared. Sometimes I get into bed and I just cry because it's so scary. But the one thing I've taught myself is to allow my fear to push me forward. And I'm telling you, my life is like, okay, God. It's like, I feel like my life is like this. I have on blinders and I'm like, okay, God, what direction am I going? What do I do? So it's like no eyes. I'm relying on my ear to hear God. That's why I have to. Before I walk out that door, I read a chapter a day. I read a chapter a day. I'm on my third time reading the entire Bible. And I'm almost finished, so I'm going to be on my fourth. But let me tell you how good God is. I think we might have been like 12 or 13. We lived in Virginia Beach. Some friends of ours, we all, walked to the beach. Virginia Beach, we're going to the beach. So, I've always been a matchmaker. So, I hooked up two of my friends. He was a nice guy. She was really cool. She would kind of babysit us. She was a little older than us, but we were all basically kind of the same age. But they were a little older than us, but still. And so, they were in the water, and I was like, We were in the ocean. We were near the pier. You know how huge the pier is. The pier is huge, huge. So I was trying to find them, and I thought I saw them in the water. So I said, you know what? Let me hop this wave. You know, trying to find them, and I kept hopping the wave, and I said, okay, I couldn't find them. I was like, well, let me keep hopping the wave, and I kept hopping the wave, hopping the wave. And the water was just so calming and so relaxed. And so I was just so like, okay, well, let me hop the wave. You know, my feet wasn't, I would just, when the wave would come, I would just, you know, hop. I wouldn't, my body was straight down like a pencil. I would just, you know, it didn't take much to just hop the wave. And the water was so calming. It was like I was mesmerized by the water. And not even realizing it was so serene, so quiet. I didn't realize there was no one around. I had hopped the wave so much. I was so far out, and I'm sure an undercurrent pushed me, you know, further out, not even realizing how far I you know, how long I had been hopping the waves. And when I finally realized there's no one out here, I was really just so, I'm a water baby. I love water. I to this day, I love the ocean till this day. But I kept hopping the ocean. I kept hopping the wave. There was nobody around. Looking in front of me, there was nobody, you know, nobody around. And God showed me a vision of looking over my right shoulder. To God be the glory. I looked over my right shoulder. When I tell you, the pier was a dot, a ballpoint pen, hold on, a dot, like a dot. It was the pier. We all know how huge the pier is. It was a dot. I promise you, the pier was a dot. So, but God showed me a vision looking over my right shoulder. And when I looked over my right shoulder, do you understand? Had I looked over my left shoulder, I would have, God knew, had I looked over my left shoulder, I would have seen nothing. And I would have automatically panicked and probably, and I'm sure drowned. I was so far out. I was out there like where cruise ships would be. The pier was a dot, y'all. A dot. And God, the peace is like water represents the Holy Spirit. And I think that's why I'm so attracted to water. Water represents the Holy Ghost. So when I looked over my shoulder and saw the pier was a dot, I didn't panic. I don't know why. I didn't panic. I turned around and I hopped up the waves. I didn't move my feet. I didn't flail my feet. And I went back the same way. Back to my friends. I'm telling you, once I got back to the sand, I saw my friends, and I was like, I was looking for y'all. And then I just went and sat down. And it's like this heavy weight just came over me. Like, what just happened? What just happened? I knew that God had just saved me. Like, I knew that God had just done something supernatural in my life. I didn't know God at that time, so I didn't know how to say it was God. I can say it was God now, but then I sat down as an 11 or 12-year-old and reflected and said to myself, what just happened to me? And it kind of scared me. But even to this day, I love the ocean. I'm not going to ever miss an opportunity to go to the ocean. Because God already showed me. God will deliver us. I'm telling you, there's some things in our lives that we really need to go back and readdress and see how God has really stepped in and really saved us. So you know, to God be glory. But let me cut up my watermelon, my watermelon. But I just think back on the things because, you know, when life, sometimes life can look and feel so uncertain, so like not what you ever expected. But I just thank God. My grandmother, Ella Mae McCollum, was such a woman of faith. Like, seriously, that's where I get my faith from. My grandmother. She was an amazing woman of faith. My other grandmother, another story, because I have some amazing stories. Another story, we were in Clinton, North Carolina. That's where we would go in the summertime, to Clinton, North Carolina. And you know the old Marcel curling irons? The Marcel curling irons, you could turn it the dial all the way up to like 24 or something. Well, I think someone actually thought they turned the Marcel curling iron off, but they actually turned it to the highest point that the iron could heat itself to, and dropped it on the floor, on the carpet. And it started melting itself in the carpet on the highest heat setting. And you know, as kids, I think me and Bonda, I think my sister was maybe 7 or 8, maybe 9 years old. And like I said, we go there for the summertime. So my dad came, he was there, he was at my grandmother's house. Both my dad's mom and family and my mom's dad, well, my mom's dad is everybody's deceased. Well, not everybody, Lord Jesus. But they lived in the same town, Clinton, North Carolina. Okay? So one lived on one side of town, another lived on another side of town. But my dad happened to be at my mom's mother's house. So my sister, she didn't have on any shoes. She was running in the bedroom where the iron was, and her foot stepped on it. And all I heard, she said, ah! Like she just screamed to the top of her lungs. Automatically, her foot just swole up, red and just swole up. My father grabbed her up and threw her in the car and drove her out to my Grand Rossi's house. Now, I look back today, I was like, why didn't I get in the doggone car with them? Because my grandmother, my Grand Rossi, my dad's mom, had a gift called Talking the Fire Out. Talking the Fire Out, and that gift is, my grandmother would say, her dad gave it to her, she could only give it to a man. So a man gave it to her, and she could only give it back to a man. And so anyway, let me tell you about the gift of Talking the Fire Out. So my grandmother, Grand Rossi, stayed all the way out in the country, and there was a Hispanic family, a Cherokee. They were Cherokee. They were Indians. It was a Cherokee family, and their house caught on fire, and so the father had suffered really bad third-degree burns all over his body, to the point the hospital, which was Sampson Memorial, my granddad, my mom's father, built Sampson Memorial in Clinton, North Carolina, although my dad's family is the Sampsons, but it's Sampson County. So anyway, but the hospital reached out to my grandmother because they knew that she had the gift of talking the fire out, and asked if she could come because there was no more that the hospital could do. They asked if she would come as a last resort. And she went, and she talked the fire out. And he healed, and he recovered. I mean, so when he got out of the hospital, the family actually moved away. But before they moved away, he came and thanked my grandmother for saving his life. So that is the gift of talking the fire out. And I bring that up to say, My mentor, Dr. Juanita Bynum, she said, mantles don't die. Mantles don't die. Because I would beg my father. So when my sister's foot blew up, I asked my sister, what happened? Because she came back laughing and joking like nothing had ever happened. I was like, your foot, I saw her foot. It was this big, y'all. Red like it was going to pop. I'm telling you, it was awful. But when she came back laughing and joking, I was like, what happened? Because I didn't know where he took her. I didn't know what had happened. Until she told me the story. She said my Grand Rossi set her down in all her tears, and it's like she was praying over it. And she said instantly the pain just went away. When I tell you, her foot, that should have been a 3rd-degree burn with the skin. I'm telling you, it was bad. But I'm telling you, God and His giftings. God and His giftings. So, and I would say to my dad, let her tell you. I call my dad Jimmy. We call him by their first name, Jimmy and Gail. Now, they claim we started calling them by their first name because we wanted to, and that is not true. We actually lived on Central's campus. My mom and dad, they were both in college when they had us. We lived on Central's campus. And when they would have parties, they would say, don't call us mama and mommy and daddy. Call us Jimmy and Gail. And that's when we were really young, real like babies. I said, y'all told us not to call you that when y'all would have parties when y'all were in college. We ain't tell you that. They didn't remember, but they told us that. Anyway. But yeah, one last story. Just one last story. Oh, is that all my stories today? Let me get my lunch done. But no, last story. So I'm gonna cut up. I gotta finish cutting up this watermelon. And I gotta fix my lunch. But there are some countries that you can't move to unless you have your appendix taken out. There are some countries you cannot move to unless you have your appendix taken out. So let me tell you how good God is. When I look back over my life, I'm telling you, I'm like, God, my life looks like a complete wreck. That's what I say. But God uses everything, okay? God uses everything. So I am so thankful. But I was in Kansas, living in Kansas with my sister. And I think I was doing E2M at the time, working out, E2M fitness. And I was in Queenology with R.C. Blakes. I had taken this Queenology class. And I would never miss that because it was amazing. But one day I was in such pain. That I had to come off live and just go lay down. And it's like all of a sudden I felt a relief. And so the next day I had a flight out to North Carolina. So I was still in a little discomfort, but kind of relieved. So I flew to Raleigh, North Carolina. We were packing my mom up. And then from there, my aunt met me in Raleigh, North Carolina to help pack my mom up. And then me and my Aunt Trudy drove from Raleigh, North Carolina to Atlanta, because our favorite restaurant is Rumi's in Alpharetta. Rumi's, let me tell you something. Rumi's with the char-grilled Chilean sea bass. Let me tell you something. You got to try it. If you've never tried it, try Rumi's in Alpharetta. Okay? The Chilean sea bass. It's char-grilled. It's charred. I've never seen sea bass, Chilean sea bass that has a char on it. It's so delicious. You got to try it. So we drove to Atlanta. So this is probably day 3, day 4, and I was just feeling, a sharp pain, but so, we spent the night there. I walked. My favorite thing because I wasn't living in Atlanta at the time. So my favorite thing is whenever we come to Atlanta, we would stay on Wynwood Parkway in one of the hotels on Wynwood Parkway, and I would just walk from Wynwood Parkway to the little lake off of Wynwood Parkway. And I think I walked about 8 miles that day. Okay. Not realizing when I was on live with Queenology, my appendix had ruptured then. The relief was the actual appendix rupturing. That was the slight relief that I found because it actually ruptured. So day 4, I did, day 3, I did 8 miles, and then that next morning we got on the road to drive from Atlanta to St. Louis. And then that night we got into St. Louis, I couldn't. I said my aunt had to take me to the hospital because I was in excruciating pain. And that's when they confirmed my appendix had ruptured. But there are some countries you cannot move to without having your appendix taken out, because there's no hospital within 24 hours of that country or of that country. So yeah, so 4 or 5 days with my appendix already ruptured. Only God. But let me tell you how God does. The hospital that they put me in, the room that I was in was right beside their burn unit, their burn center. And so when the nurse came in, I said, listen, my grandmother had the gift of talking the fire out. And they were just so amazed with me, because that was the time I was writing my prayer journal. And you're writing a prayer journal, and your grandma. They were so amazed. I said, well, I just want you to ask, because you couldn't get on the burn unit because they kept the doors closed. You had to have special access to get in the burn unit. So I asked the nurse if you would talk to one of the nurses or doctors on that burn unit, if there was any severe cases or anyone that wanted prayer, let me know, because my grandmother did have that gift of talking the fire out, and I felt like God had given me that gift. So they never came back to me to tell me, but I would just stand out when I would get up and walk. I would stand outside the burn center and just pray. I would just pray, because there's no way God, like God don't make no mistakes. God don't make, you gonna put me beside a burn unit and I know my grandmother had the gift of talking the fire out? No. God said, listen, I got an assignment. You got an appendix? Come on. There's somebody in this burn unit that I need your prayers for. So sometimes your failure or when your life blows up, our life is not our own. So, we got to hear God. But anyway, Lord, if I do not get this watermelon cut up and in the bed. But listen, we got to eat healthier. Do you know at one point I was a size 18? One of my largest sizes is a size 18. I didn't realize that my unhealed issues would keep me heavy. So whenever our issues are unhealed, it shows itself in our weight. So that's why it's so important. It's not just that we have to talk about the things that we've been through, the molestation or whatever it is, rejection, whatever it is. You can't just talk it out. You have to get healed from it. You have to understand how that actually shows up in your relationships, in the challenges that you have with people. And it normally doesn't show up when you're in right relationship with people. It's when adversity shows up that those triggers come alive. So we have to always be aware. And my weight was evidence of my unhealed traumas that I carried, because I've always had a relationship with food. I eat my feelings. I eat my emotions. I eat my emotions. So, but even now I'm learning a lot more control, because I've chosen to heal. I've chosen to do the work, to do the hard work. When I'm faced with challenges, it's not look what they're doing to me, because I know God uses everything. God uses people. God uses people, places, and things. So I know it's happening for me. It's not happening to me. God, listen, that thing that is challenging you, that thing that you say, I don't like something about them, I don't like. A lot of us are fighting our own reflection in other people. We fighting our own reflection. You fighting the mirror. You fighting the mirror. Because if you ever got a chance to know that person on the other side of the issues, you probably see y'all have more in common than you have a difference in. So, you got to start saying, our jobs, the people at work, our finances, whatever is our challenge, is happening for us, not to us. And we got to just thank God that God chose us for the challenge. Whatever the adversity is, God chose us. It's working out something in us. We call it to greatness. It's working out some greatness. I promise you it is. And that's what you got to ask. Some of us think, there are parts of Rhonda that cannot go where God has called me to. So he has to use the amazing people, places, and things. Everybody that has ever shown up in your life was on assignment. I don't care how it ended. Praise God for them. I praise God for everybody. Everyone I've ever called a friend, everyone that I've ever referred to as a friend, we may not be friends now, but I still have a love for them, because I wouldn't be who I am today right now without them. So you got to thank the thing that made you feel rejected, that made you feel alone, that made you feel challenged or traumatized. It was working for your good. It's working for my good. It's working for my good. What? Working for my good. It is. I bless God for them. All of you. It's my thank you to all of you, and you all know who you are. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Okay, I gotta make my lunch. Gotta make my lunch. It is so late. Oh my God, it's so late. Jesus. Okay. I have to bag me up. This is a part of my lunch. Ah! This is a part of my lunch. The rind is good for us, so we have to eat the rind. All right. I'm hungry. All right. And this is my lunch. All right. And lid. This goes in the refrigerator. Now, I'm going to do meal prep for tomorrow. Which tomorrow is like right now today. Oh, all right. So listen. We got to keep moving. As we get older, we do not get signals to work out. We have to keep our muscle mass. I do have weights at home. I keep a gym membership. I'm trying to figure out a schedule to get it all in. Oh, Lord, it's hard. It's hard, but guess what? It's not impossible. And we're going to do it. I don't have kids. So, you know, and for those of us that have kids, some of us, we still can't depend on them. So as we get older, we have to stay strong. We have to keep our muscles strong. I see a lot of people doing, you know, losing weight. That's great. But make sure we're not losing muscle weight. Like even at work, I do squats. I do squats at work. Okay? Something to challenge my muscles. Since I've started this class, so got to get my schedule back together. Okay. So okra. I'm going to do a salad. Okra. I'm going to do a salad. This is okra. This is okra. Then we're going to do the salad. This is broccoli sprouts, organic baby arugula, and baby spinach. And let's see what else we're going to build my salad with. Oh, I got some purple onion. Black beans. This purple onion don't look good. So I'm going to cut up this one. Arugula. Some arugula. Some broccoli sprouts. I get these from Kroger. Broccoli sprouts. Let's see my little salad. But this is the size. Some broccoli sprouts are in there. And some spinach. 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 All right. The salad prep. Back to the Frigidaire. What else are we gonna do? Oh, yeah. Oh. We have some feta cheese and what is really good, golden beets. I promise you, so delicious. golden beets. I'm gonna put that on last. And I have to cut this up. I have to cut, I do have a purple onion. I like a lot. I use like a whole purple onion because I just love purple onion. Some cucumber and purple onion. This is not enough purple onion. Look, that's not enough. And no, I don't know how to look. I'm going to take a cutting class. I need a cutting class. I need a cutting class. Cutting class. Don't talk about me. Don't talk about me and my cutting skills. I get it done. Chop, chop, chop. Look at that. That is not enough onions. First of all, I have to cut up this salad. So when I'm at work tomorrow, I'm not taking a whole fork full. There'll be bite-sized pieces. Okay. Look, all my salad. All my salad. Okay. And my onions. I like onions on the bottom and on the top. That's not enough onion. All right. And this is bad, so I have to cut that off. That's bad. Ooh, all this. That's got to go. Oh, that's got to go. See, look. That's good. All this is bad. Going to the trash. Okay. All right. Alright, y'all, it is, I said I was trying to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. With this course and me studying, like, I'm a little all over the place right now. And I've got to get refocused. So I can get it all in. Get it all in. That's what growth is. Challenge. It's stretching us to great places. All right. All right. Now this looks good. What do they say? This is good too. Have you seen this? This will chop up your onions. But it does. but I like, I kind of like the bite of a red onion. So that's why I have to chop it. I want the bite. I like a bite. I like the bite of a purple onion. All right. I'm telling you, I'm taking a cut. I am going to take a cutting class because I just need to. Y'all, look at all these purple onions I have on my salad. It's strong because it's trying to make me tear up. All right, what is next? What is next is, oh, my cucumber. My cucumber. And that is my cucumber. And now it's going to be my black beans. My black beans. I made these. Let me see. In my crock pot. In my crock pot. Okay. I need to find a black bean recipe though. Black beans. So this is my black beans. That's my black. One more black beans. Yeah. You know why? This is my salad. Oh, I forgot. Took out some perch. Gotta cook my perch, but not tonight. Okay. So now it's time for my golden beets that I normally get from either Sprouts or Whole Foods. and I just dice them up like small cubes. That's my golden beets. And roast them in the oven on like 350 for like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Then I turn off the oven and just let them sit in there and marinate with some rosemary, thyme, olive oil, and some, what do I do? I think I just do complete and just a hint of this adobo. That's it. Okay, last thing is feta. My feta cheese. I have stuffed this bowl. Let's make a mess. Alright. That's it. That's it. That's all. Look, that's enough. That's my lunch. That's my lunch. This is my lunch. All right, so I have salad, that. I have plenty. I have plenty. I have, this goes back, this goes back. This is my Palo Azul. Can you see it? It has a tinge of blue. It's for kidneys. A great kidney flush and healer for kidneys. Okay? Y'all see how country I am. Clinton, North Carolina all the way. Y'all see this? Y'all see this jar? This container? Clinton, North Carolina. So this is for my Palo Azul. Supposed to be blue, but I had reused the wood. It's a little wood chip. I've already thrown it away. I don't have any more. I gotta go back and get more. But a really good kettle. Where is it? Broke some glass, but you put it in here. Sometimes I do hibiscus. I put that in here, and then this is the base. It boils it for you. It boils it. Costco. It's amazing. Yep. The devil be so mad because I knock his head off every chance I get. Okay. All right. Okay. That's it. Enjoy. Say your prayers. Read your word, okay? Every day. Every day. Give God a vow. Every day. Deuces.